What's up, everybody? Happy Sunday. Hope everybody is having a great week, all things considered. It is November 23rd. Usually do these streams on Tuesdays and Fridays, but wasn't able to stream on Friday, so I thought, fuck it, let's do a Sunday stream before the week starts. First of all, hope everybody's having a great weekend. What's up, Medex, Lucky, Rojam, Henry? Nice to see everybody. First of all, let me know in the chat before we get started if you guys could please like, retweet, comment, bookmark. Always appreciated. And then let me know two things. One, I want you to say in the chat, one, if this is your first stream or if you're an OG. And then two, say where you're at in the world. I want to know what country you're from. Twitter, it's actually pretty timely because Twitter, as you guys, most of you probably saw, made it so you can see everybody's country. Now, on their profile, if you go to where it says joined under here, I don't think it was any mystery that I'm from the United States. But yeah, you can go and look at everybody's profile now. Big kind of, controversy around that. Let me know in the chat what you think of that too. I know a lot of people, I know Twitter's doing it because they want to stop, make accounts authentic and stuff like that. But a lot of people think it's doxing. I think personally, I don't really view it as doxing because it's not much you can get from just somebody's country. But I do understand that some people's location in their certain country that they're in may be important and for safety in certain fringe cases. But obviously, it's interesting. Today, we're going to talk about Bitcoin. As you guys know, I'm an extreme long-term bull and midterm, and I'm just very optimistic about the industry. But as you can see here, I tweeted yesterday that, I still 10 years in, I feel like I've pretty accurately over the last few years publicly called a lot of the bigger swings on Bitcoin, ETH, Sol at the bottom of these corrections. But I still find myself 10 years in breaking my system and finding myself needing to be more patient. As you guys can see from this tweet here in October 17th, I talked about how every time Bitcoin's consolidated for more than 2 months, it's come down another 20 to 30% in these mid-cycle corrections. So I saw that coming, but instead of waiting for a bullish confirmation, which really on this side, what I should have waited for is Bitcoin to come up and trade back above the 200 EMA, which is this red moving average. Typically, as you can see in these past corrections, once Bitcoin is traded back above there, that's what's confirmed the next leg to all-time highs. But instead, I called or traded what I thought was coming instead of following my system. And of course, really all that means is I missed out on, a potential short to the downside. Now, what does that mean? And just to close that off again, really, if I were following my personal system, which again, the biggest thing is whenever Bitcoin has broken the bottom of these 2 or 3 months consolidations, as you can see here, Bitcoin in December of 24 this year consolidated for 2 months, came down 20%. Same thing in 2024. These 2 to 3 months consolidations are always followed by a bigger move down from Bitcoin. But instead of waiting for that bullish confirmation to confirm that we're heading higher, I kind of, started calling and anticipated that move before it was kind of confirmed in my system. And I just want to make the point that happens. Now, where does Bitcoin go from here, though? I will be honest that this big move down, and this is what I've been saying on all these streams for the last few weeks, is that this big move down on Bitcoin, or this correction on Bitcoin, and the reason why these past corrections in, April, the April correction, that 2024 correction, is that they came down pretty correctively with a move down and then some bounces in between. This move down is a lot more impulsive than the last two. As you can see here in the 2021 November top, Bitcoin came down 50% in a matter of 6 weeks in this kind of just down only manner with very few bounces. Now, this leg that we're seeing off this consolidation is definitely more reminiscent of that 2021 top, again, in that impulsiveness of that move and how straight down this move is. As you can see, it looks very different, especially if we go to the weekly chart here for Bitcoin. Or really the monthly is probably the biggest dead giveaway. Is this is the biggest red monthly candle that Bitcoin has seen during this bull market since the bull market started in 2023, right? So it's definitely different than these past corrections, but there's a lot more that goes into it in any of these setups than just one singular piece of information, right? So while this impulsivity on Bitcoin is definitely different than these past corrections, there is a possibility, that um, especially now that Bitcoin, uh, or especially now that everybody is assuming that the bear market's over. I'm sorry, the bull market's over, and that we're going into a long bear. And all these positive things are setting up outside of the price. I'm talking about the macro situation. There is some uncertainty with rates next month, but other than that, the macro situation is arguably way better than it has been for years. You got the regulatory clarity with the Clarity Act, you know, bound to be passed in the next few months, which will be huge for the industry. You have all these other positive things happening. There is a possibility here that this bounce that we have here for Bitcoin does lead straight back to all-time highs. There's definitely a possibility, and like I'm definitely open to that. For me, what I'm doing is DCing into these great coins, the great movement coins, the great revenue producing coins, L1s. Some of these coins we'll talk about here in a bit. Regardless if we go straight to all-time highs from here or see another low. But I'm open to the possibility that again Bitcoin maybe chops for here and then just goes back straight to all-time highs. It's definitely possible with everything going on. What would be the confirmation of that for me, and to be more objective this time around and waiting for a confirmation is, again, I'm already DCAing, but we're talking about a confirmation of calling the likelihood of a top, or a all-time high coming, is I would like to see Bitcoin trade back above this 200 moving average. As you guys can see here, if we go and track back these past corrections, the confirmation that Bitcoin was back every single time was a trading above that 200 moving average. You can go back here every time. We would get that death cross where the 50 EMA, the 50 moving average, which is this blue one, cross the red one, and then the confirmation that the bull market was back was essentially the reclaiming or the trading back above that 200 red moving average I have here. Same thing in 2023, right? So moving averages aren't something magic, but it shows us that in the past, that once price traded above it, that there's essentially 100% probability based on these past things that it's going to continue higher. So that's what I'm using as the line in the sand. But at the same time, we must recognize that the 200 moving average is all the way back up at the 110K, which is very, very, it's going to take essentially a 15 or 20% move just to get back to that 200 moving average. And I'm going to go ahead and show you why this 200 moving average has essentially historically been so important. Is because if we go back to the November 2021 top here, guys, what did Bitcoin do? It came down that 50%, traded back towards this 200 moving average, right? As guys can see here, failed to break. And then that's what confirmed that final, you could call this a final leg down. It did last 6 months, but that's what confirmed that final move down from 47K to 16K before the bear market finished up. Now, could we be seeing something like this? I think the bear case and where potentially we do fall back into another leg lower. And I want to preface this, guys, that the longest bear market we've ever seen, 2018 to 2019, lasted a year or 13 months from peak to bottom. The second biggest one was 12 months from peak to bottom. So when I say about what I'm about to say, like, if we are to trade back into a bear, all that really means historically is a matter of 6 to 9 months longer. So people say bear market, they think of it as this like terrible, dreadful thing, where it is definitely boring. Prices definitely go down. but it's not some like long 2 to 3 year winter. I think even if we are to go back into a longer bear market, which we'll go here in a second, I think that's again just a matter of a few months. And if you're DCAing into these coins, continuing to show up, networking, and all this stuff, like it's just a matter of a few months. I know people who may not have experienced these bears before. You might assume bear market just means this long, dreadful 2 to 3 year winter. And while that's possible, I just don't think historically that matches up. And then especially now that crypto is in this golden zone, as you guys can see in this tweet, before I finish up what I was going to say about the charts, is that um, as I've been clear in all these tweets here recently, is that despite the recent price action that needs to kind of fix itself out, is that um, I think crypto's in the perfect sweet spot right now. Like it's already kind of made it in a way. All the biggest world institutions are looking at it, getting into the game. Got countries, sovereign wealth funds starting to enter, but prices are still correcting. I think it's in this sweet spot. And really, the mystery here is how long it takes to get out of here. But I think, again, whether we're in a extended correction that goes up and finishes an all-time high in a month from now, or we do confirm a longer quote unquote bear market, it's really only a matter of 3 to 6, 9 months. If your long-term goal is to build wealth in crypto, create content, whatever your objectives are, it's really just it's really just a matter of time and just a matter of a few months difference. But to complete what I was saying about Bitcoin, now this is the bear case. Okay. This is, if we are to go into a longer term bear, which really just means another low further from where we're at now, I could see something like this playing out where we go like this. Bitcoin trades up kind of choppy, fails to break this 200 moving average right here, and then trades down for one more low. At that point, you should expect everybody to say, oh, this is over. We're in a 2 to 3 year winter. Pack it up, blah, blah, blah. But again, if we were to get this leg lower, I think historically and based on everything provided, that would be a golden opportunity to really get into a lot of these great coins at insane discounts while everybody's not paying attention. For me, my game plan is really to just double down, do these streams, 5 to 6. I have 6 streams for the next 7 days here. To continue to hang out with you, continue to create content, no matter what the conditions are. But even if you're just a trader, I think if Bitcoin is to come down here and confirm this second leg, further leg down, that's your golden opportunity to continue. Definitely don't obsess over charts, but historically, this has been the best time to double down, continue to learn, and definitely not check out. Obviously, I think Jaden on one of our streams the other day made it clear is that you want to make sure to have your bills paid, all those things important done first. But this is personally what I'm doing. Whether we go up from here, I've been DCing pretty heavy over the last week or so. But whether we, go straight to all-time highs from here, which I think is possible, or come back down for that final leg, I'm treating this as an opportunity or treating this as a time of opportunity to get in a lot of DCAs and the coins, and continue to do these streams and everything. Again, if we look at these bear markets, 2021 bear market, this is back during a time where, let me just paint the picture for you if you weren't around. By the way, in the chat, if you're around during FTX and everything, let me know. Say it here during FTX. I kind of want to get a gauge of where everybody in the chat when they started. But historically, this is 2021. Obviously, we came off a huge bull market where Elon Musk was talking about Doge and Bitcoin, huge retail push and huge for like the adoption or the mind share of crypto. But in 2021, Bitcoin topped out. There was a huge macro chaos, right? There was super uncertainty around inflation. Inflation was jacked up to what? It went to 8 or 9%, and that was just CPI. I could be fucking those numbers up, but somebody let me know in the chat. But CPI was jacked up. Everybody was panicking about a fucking recession. Then we got hit with Luna, Terra Luna, just absolutely fucked everything. Then you got Celsius, just go and wreck people, billions of dollars lost. Then you had obviously FTX, billions of dollars lost. Everybody just completely just discouraged about crypto. You had the SEC suing all these different companies. If you were a founder looking into crypto to build something, there was no shot you're going to do it. Prices were down all the way down to 16K. Institutions were not involved yet. And in fact, JP Morgan was like laughing at Bitcoin on the way down. And then now, yes, prices are down from 126K down to 87K. But everything I just named there is completely the polar opposite in a positive way. You have all the institutions involved, regulatory clarity. Not only have they taken back those lawsuits about from the companies, but they've now are producing like regulatory frameworks so that people can freely build in crypto. Institutions are all in. Macro, completely opposite, is looking completely on the up and up. So again, even if Bitcoin were to mimic the worst bear we've ever had, guys, which I don't think is going to happen here, you're looking at 6 to 9 months of waiting. If you have the bullish view of me in crypto, which I think is the obvious one, that this thing is about to hit mass adoption, the good assets, we're talking staple coins, perps, I think meme coins and that stuff, NFTs, a lot of these things, obviously Bitcoin, ETH, Sol, are going to hit mass adoption and really solidify themselves, then 6 to 9 months, who gives a fuck? If anything, it gives some people who got wiped or people who maybe need to save up, and it allows people to catch up and improve even better. So I know it's terrible. I wish it didn't go down like this. I wish I would have taken this huge short to the downside and made a couple $100,000 and everything we wish we could do. But at the end of the day, I think we're in an amazing position. We should all be extremely grateful to be here, versus where we were just a few years ago. I remember when I started in 2016, a lot of these people were talking about Bitcoin even being adopted by countries and going to 10, 20, 30K. You would be looked at as like fucking crazy. And the fact that we're at here, where we're at now, yes, it's been a tough year. Yes, meme coins have been absolutely fucking destroyed. Yes, everything essentially besides Bitcoin has been down for the last year. But the fact that the industry and Bitcoin's still at 87K, the industry is continuing to grow. All the fundamentals are great. I think we should be incredibly grateful and optimistic about the future, no matter what happens. So, just to conclude, I know I've been going on a long rant. I want to look at the chat, but to kind of conclude, the 200 moving average, historically, again, if you just look at these past corrections, and again, I always encourage everybody, go look at these corrections yourself so you can form pattern recognition and you can get a view of these charts. I would say probably 10% less, 20% of people probably look at these past charts and compare them because they just assume charts are random. But at the end of the day, these charts do leave clues in the sense of these certain principles of like these moving averages and stuff like that. And I don't go crazy schizo with the moving averages and say like, oh, these bounces and stuff. Essentially, I use them as momentum shifts, and historically they've been pretty accurate. So again, 200 moving average. If Bitcoin on this next bounce, which I do think is happening, I think it's already happening now. If we were to get a bit more chop here for another couple days, would it be even better? But on this next bounce, if Bitcoin, one of two things, we'll start with the bear case because it's already up. If Bitcoin, goes up maybe in a choppy manner, heads back towards that 200 moving averages, but fails to break like we saw in November of 21, where price went back down 30K on that first move down, traded back to that moving average, and then failed to break and came back down, that would be our sign for another leg down. Which I think this would probably be the last one, maybe in the 70s, 60s, who fucking knows. But that would be the bear case. The bull case from here, which again is very possible. I'm at odds with this, guys. Like I could see either one happening, and I'm DCAing just as if the bull was going to happen now. Like it's going to happen now, because again, even if we are going to come down one more time, a lot of these memes and alts are down 80 or 90% already, guys. Yes, they could come down another 90%. I'm not ignorant to that, but I think the risk to reward is there to start nibbling some of these coins now. But with last thing is this is the bull case. Bitcoin chops out a bit more and then just goes straight to all-time highs and just leaves everybody in the dust. And the fundamentals, macro, everything supports that possibility 100%. But again, we got to look historically. What happened is usually when you get a move down, that's almost 40% in one shot. That does mean the start of a longer bear. But again, guys, we've only have 3 of these bull markets ever to go off of. It's not a lot of information to go off of. So really, this could be like every other thing in this cycle, could be unprecedented, and we could just rip the all-time highs from here. Either way, I'm just extremely fucking excited about the next few years, in the next 6 to 9 months. And I'll continue to keep you guys updated on what I think is going to happen here. I think the number one thing to look at is you want to determine before it gets to that moving average what we could be doing here is you want to be looking at the strength of the move, right? Just how the strength or impulsivity of this Bitcoin move down is very important to me. And that's kind of what's determining the bull markets and bear markets of the past, is usually how impulsive the move is. Impulsive move to the downside um, usually results in a big trend change, whereas kind of choppy moves to the downside, kind of short and choppy, usually mean just a correction. What I would like to see on to the move to the upside to kind of confirm that again we're moving back up is if the move is very impulsive, lots of green candles straight off the bat. Whereas if it were to be more choppy, like something like this, where we just chopped around for a bit and then kind of choppily took 2 or 3 weeks to get up there, that to me is more corrective and very likely will point to something like this. Okay, so if the move up is quick and strong, good sign that we're going to go straight back to all-time highs. But again, we got to let that 200 moving average be our guide. And we'll see from there. And it doesn't have to go all the way back to the 200 moving average, guys. It could literally do some shit like this and just barely go and then come down. Like, really what it is we want to see it trade back towards that 200 moving average. And if it fails to break, we start to see it do something like, I wish it would be easier if we had candles, but like we start to see something like this. Like this would be the confirmation, is when it starts to head down. I might place a nice little short there or something, but either way, guys, whether we go up from here, break that 200 moving average or not, I'm just extremely excited to be here and extremely excited about the next few months. So I know I just went on like a 20-minute rant, but I wanted to get that out there. I know this is a really contentious topic right now, and I hope that makes sense. Marie Tulip, what's up? Fourth stream, appreciate you for being here. Creed Luminous OG. I'm an OG on the sprint. Yeah, I know you, Henry. Ibrahimil. I'm here, bro. 10th stream. Medics, I know I see you all the time. Boss man calls. Let's fucking go. Love to see that. I'm in for a long stream, by the way. Hell yeah, hell yeah. Perfect. By the way, guys, I know at the top here, if you're just hopping in, by the way, we're just talking about Bitcoin, ETH, SOL, potentially the bull and bear case. If you guys could like, comment, retweet, bookmark, always appreciated. Usually doing these streams on Tuesdays and Fridays, but I thought, fuck it, let's do a Sunday stream because I wasn't able to on Friday. I hope you guys are all having an amazing weekend. And yeah, we just got to see what Bitcoin does over the next few weeks. After it confirms this bounce, we'll be watching the 200 moving average on the daily. So for those of you guys, if you are want to put these moving averages on your charts yourself, you can go to TradingView, pick up indicators, and you just type in moving average. You want to be making sure to use the simple moving average. And once you click this, it'll bring them up. I like to use the 200 and the 50. The 200 is the red one. The 50 is the blue one. And essentially what moving averages are, guys, are essentially the average price of the last, again, 200 moving average. I'm on the daily chart. So it's the average price for the last 200 days or the last 50 days, depending on the moving average you're using. And again, it's not perfect. It essentially acts, for me, the way I use them is a way to track shifting of momentum. Okay. Whenever price moves above these certain moving averages, that's confirmation that I use with a set of other things, mostly corrective chart structure, impulsive chart structure. The moving averages are something I use in combinations with these few other things to really confirm reversals and trend and not trend, but momentum shifts. So yeah, we'll see what a Bitcoin does on this next bounce. If it's able to trade back towards that 200 moving average, fails to break down, we'll know very likely we're going to see another leg down. But again, just usually a matter of 6 to 9 months. So if you're a long-term person, if you're here to, which I think you should be, if you're a long-term person in this game, then really it's just a matter of time. Yo, Brent, looking good, but I still don't think we're going up. Yeah, we'll see, brother. We'll see. Can you tell us about Pump? It's getting down day by day. Yes, we'll go over Pump right now. I'm going to go over some coins with you guys in a second and the coins that I've really been personally DCAing. Um, and let me know if you guys have been DCAing, what you're thinking in the market. I always love the value. Again, this stream, I think why I really pride myself, or what I really have pride in, is really talking to the chat and making you guys a huge part of the stream, especially right now when it's really not much going on. Everybody asking where the market bottoms, but I think nobody can actually, for sure, nobody knows 100%, Henry. I think for me, all of this is speculation, and speculation kind of has a negative connotation. Give me 1 second, guys. I just want to get a drink. I don't know if you guys notice, sometimes I forget to turn the mic away. My mic's really sensitive, so it might sound like some ASMR, but you're right, Henry. All we can do, I think all of this is speculation. And speculation has negative connotation, but to me, speculation really encompasses both investing and trading. Okay. Everybody is speculating on the market. NFTs and stuff are a little bit different because there's a collectability thing. But when you're talking about these financial assets, even Bitcoin, you're buying and speculating that the price is going to go up at some point in the future. And there could be a mix of that. You could really care about the decentralization, and that could be most of it for you. But you wouldn't buy it if it was just a stable coin, right? You buy it because you think it's going to go up over time because the world, they're going to debase the currency, whatever. Um, all of this is speculation, right? Everybody's speculating whether they're trading in and out quickly to make a profit or they're investing for the long term. So you're right, Henry. Everything is speculation at the end of the day. It's just about taking different things, pieces of data, whether it be through the charts, like I usually heavily, do, and or fundamentals, or all these different things to really build a case or a thesis, right? So you're right. Nobody knows exactly what's going to happen. I think a lot of people kind of have a good eye for these kind of things. I think the biggest thing to look for is time in the game. People who have lived or traded or studied these past cycles before. But you're right, Henry. Nobody knows for sure. Like I said, 10 years in, I still have a system that confirmed a certain thing. And last week, I still kind of let what I thought was going to happen based on all these different things. But I do think conviction's a great thing. But at the end of the day, none of us know for sure what's going to happen. I think the long term, I think Bitcoin is about the biggest surefire thing in the space, because I think as they debase the currency more, risk assets are going to go up. Bitcoin probably the most. But other than that, a lot of this is speculation. It all is speculation based on data and different things that we have, right? So I think that there's a lot of data and a lot of good reason to be extremely optimistic about crypto and meme coins and movement communities and NFTs and stuff moving forward. But at the end of the day, a lot of this is unknown, and it's speculation. I think December would be good for the market. Yeah, I think so too. I'm just catching up with a lot of your comments right now, guys. I apologize. I think we have a brief rally this coming week. We are already retesting key zones. We should bounce them here. I'm definitely possible. Cody Bryant. What's good, brother? That's a fucking crazy name. Fire name. Do you think this is a good time to buy Bitcoin? So you guys, everybody has their own goals. I really have made a point to not. I don't know. I think for me, I can only tell you guys what I'm doing. Um, and I think DCAing, meaning just buying, slowly buying these coins during huge 20 to 30% moves like this on Bitcoin is usually a good move. Usually historically just a good move. But with the understanding that Bitcoin again could do this thing where it fucks around for a bit, comes back up, and then gives us one more leg like it did in 2021. So that's what I would say. I think anybody who was buying during this Bitcoin bull run down here, under 30K, maybe they took 50% drawdown, but guess what? If they would have held, they're up 5, 6, 7x. So that's the approach I'd like to take. Again, not really trying to catch the perfect bottom of something, but to average in during these corrections, manage my risk so that I can catch the next big move up, the next big impulse, which you hear me talking about this chart stuff, which guys, I'm about 90% done with about 15 to 20 hours of free content that I'm going to post on my page for all the members of the stream to get first. That goes into a lot of these different things. But essentially, uh, whether everybody knows it or not, when you're adding to coins, you're adding and buying to catch the next impulse, which is the next big move up. So that's what I'm doing. Everybody has their own goals. But yeah, your setup looks on fire, bro. Thanks, dude. Kind of glad this drop happened now than later, for sure. Yeah, Brand, your strategy to DCA on every price offer from everyone, even in bear last. Yeah. 6 streams in 7 days. Yeah, man. Gotta turn it up. I know a lot of people are gonna pull back, and understandably so, man. It's like, unless you're talking and love talking about Bitcoin price, there's not a lot going on. But again, just time and time again, I've seen with myself that the people who lock in now and double down, whether it be content creating, learning, DCing, like those are the people that shine on the other side. So, by the way, at the top right, as you guys can see, I am on X, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Really just starting to ramp up the TikTok slowly. Haven't taken that crazy seriously yet. But I'm going to an Instagram. We are live streaming on X, Instagram, and YouTube right now. So definitely, if you are on all those three, I know most of you guys are. Go right now, shoot us a follow. Expect some longer form content on YouTube eventually. We are building towards that, but definitely appreciate if you shot me a follow. Been posting a little bit more IRL stuff on YouTube. I'm sorry, Instagram. Uh, Going to do the face reveal and all that good stuff, and I'll be able to do more when that happens with the IRL content. But definitely shoot me a follow, shoot me a DM, let me know that you're from the stream, and definitely love to chop it up with the chat. Those impulsive quick moves are good signs that the market is now in bullish territory. Yeah, we'll see, brother. Did retweet bookmark, bro. What about streaming on Insta? Yeah, we're streaming on Insta right now. Do you believe this moving average lag? Why streaming on Insta? Oh, we streaming on Insta. Yeah, we are. What you think about Monad ecosystem, bro? It's launching tomorrow. To be honest, I haven't been paying crazy too much attention to the Monad. I don't really do the Kaido stuff too much, so I'm not getting an allocation. I think it's awesome that Coinbase is doing that ICO with Monad and a public sale where anybody can buy straight from Coinbase. I think that's amazing. I think that's going to lead to more adoption of crypto. I know a lot of people on crypto Twitter don't really like it because it decreases their allocation very likely. Understandably so. But yeah, I'm extremely bullish. I think it's going to lead to more crypto mass adoption. And I don't know. I haven't personally dug too much into Monad. I don't really have any opinion on any long term like price projections or anything because I just really don't know. I don't like to talk on stuff I don't really know about. And I probably should be paying attention because it's huge, but I'm probably going to dive more into it, but yeah, I mean, any of these L2s is definitely a challenge, but it does look like Monad has a good team and knows what they're doing. And I'm rooting for anybody on the team, and success for any of these L2s is I'm rooting for. So Monad will create huge opportunities tomorrow. Thoughts on this? Yeah, we'll see. Brent, are altcoins waiting for a Bitcoin dominance reversal, or have the players abandoned alts temporarily? That's a good question, bro. So alts Bitcoin dominance is by the way, actually, I'm gonna, before I pull that up, give me 1 second, guys. We're live. I'm gonna retweet the stream really quick. But great question about Bitcoin dominance. USDC giveaway at end of stream. By the way, I am going to do a USDC giveaway from the comments of the X post towards the end of the stream. I'll probably be on here for an hour to 90 minutes, so maybe another 45 minutes or so. We'll see. But if you guys again could like, retweet, comment, always appreciated. Bookmark, all that good stuff. But Newell, to answer your question about Bitcoin dominance, essentially, Bitcoin dominance is in a really interesting place. And this what we're seeing on Bitcoin dominance is actually um, a lot of is one of the reasons why me leaning towards and open to the possibility that we just rip straight back to all time highs from here. Because if we just zoom out and we look at Bitcoin dominance, guys, essentially Bitcoin dominance during that 2021 bear market, I'm sorry, bull market, Bitcoin dominance during the beginning of the bull market peaked out at 73% and went straight down all the way down to 40% during that bear market. I'm sorry, during the bull market, and then during the bear market kind of chopped sideways, and then was kind of up only from 40% to 62% during this bull market. And that's because the ETF, Bitcoin ETF, dominated. Everybody was talking about Bitcoin. It was all Bitcoins and meme coins. Um, but what did we see happen in June of 2020? I'm sorry, June of this year is that Bitcoin came down hard from 65%, breaking through this corrective channel or like wedge or whatever you want to call it. And then since then has been forming another mini version of this big one, kind of chopping up slowly, which to me I've been saying is very wedge slash corrective channel like, and very likely leads to another leg lower. Um, and another leg lower in this trend. And what are we seeing here is that Bitcoin dominance has come out of that corrective channel and is moving down during a time where the whole market's correcting. And that's not usually what we see. Like we saw, guys, in the bear market of the past, we saw Bitcoin dominance go up and sideways. And the last bear market as well, back in 2018, 2019, we saw Bitcoin dominance go up during the bear market. So to see it trending down or to see it like chopping down is definitely not what we see during most of these bull markets. And if this trend continues, I think this points to, again, a likelihood of a bounce here for Bitcoin that could lead to a time where alts dominate for a bit. We saw it in 2019 and 2020 where I'm sorry, 2020, where Bitcoin came back and retested the all-time high. That's not Bitcoin. We saw Bitcoin retest this all-time high in 2021, and during this time from July to November, altcoins went fucking crazy. Ethereum went nuts. NFTs went absolutely crazy, and then we topped out and everything was over. Right. So I'm looking at Bitcoin dominance. What it's telling me now is that on this next leg up here, Bitcoin dominance it looks like it wants to continue to come down. And in that case, I think we're going to get some kind of real big alt bounce. I don't want to say alt season. You know what I mean? Who knows how it could play out, but I think we're going to see Ethereum mostly. That's mostly what this dominance ratio is made up of. But I think we're going to see alts continue to be strong. That's what this charts are telling me. And what does that mean? Does that mean we get an all out bounce back where Bitcoin just goes absolutely fucking nuts, straight back to all time highs? Possible, but also possible that Bitcoin does this, like I depicted earlier, where maybe it just chops around a bit, goes up, and then slowly chops up here. Maybe doesn't go all the way back to all time highs, but chops up for a couple months. And at that time, maybe we see Bitcoin dominance come down and alts go crazy and kind of a mini alt season, right? That's kind of what that chart is telling me. And actually, the fact that Bitcoin dominance wants to continue to move down is one point that points to the fact that we might actually bottom out here and rip up to all time highs. So appreciate you guys for being on Insta and X. Are stable coins slowly becoming the backbone of global payments? Yeah, we're seeing a big adoption with stable coins. And I think what's important with stable coins, and a lot of people ask, like, what the fuck does that have to do with my NFTs and meme coins and all that shit, is that typically, they want to get stable coins in the hands of everybody around the world, which is going to have them create digital wallets. And more people that have digital wallets, the more people are going to now be able to buy normal crypto and buy NFTs and just be, onboarded into the digital asset ecosystem for the first time. That's what stablecoins are going to do. Creed Luminous says, can we have ton coin analysis? Yeah, we can do some ton. So typically, guys, I think a lot of these L1s, and especially the ones in the top 10 to 20, are going to have a big bounce back. Ton, I think, is really a pioneer in doing a lot of this cool stuff in the the blockchain app space where they're integrating Ton directly into the app, which is amazing. Um, different things like you can buy your username, and I think I think that's the future. A lot of these different apps are going to have crypto capabilities. Um, it is down now about 70 or 80%. I kind of put Ton in the same basket as something like Sui, which has really did great things over the last few years, but is down 70 or 80%. And really, man, if I had to guess with all the things that they're doing, I think that Ton and a lot of these other L1s are going to have a big bounce back. And to me, I just haven't dove enough into the ecosystem and to really like a lot of these different things, AVAX and these meme coins, a lot of stuff I'll watch interviews on. I'll get kind of nerdy with this shit and like to really get a strong conviction. Ton, I haven't really dove into it too much to really like value it over AVAX or some of these other ones that I really like. But with that being said, I know a lot of people love Ton. Like I said, they're doing a lot of the cool stuff, integrating blockchain into the app, which I'm really bullish on. So really, if I had to guess, especially if we can bounce back or if we can chop out here, I think typically Ton is just going to follow Bitcoin. Does it outperform Bitcoin to the upside? Probably for a time, like we saw it last year. And typically, the coins that do well at the beginning of the cycle, or at least in a few year period, can usually, as long as it doesn't completely die, continues to do well the next few. So typically, I think Ton is going to follow what Bitcoin does, and I think it has a really good shot at probably making a new all time high whenever we do bounce back. So yeah, I think Sui, AVAX, XRP, a lot of these to the untrained eye look pretty nasty, but I think these are the ones that I think have a really solid chance of bouncing back, especially as these TradFi folks start to come into the industry. Is this a good time to rotate into low cap gems? I'm not sure, brother. I don't low cap gems if you mean like a couple $1 million coins. That's not what I'm doing personally, but you might have an edge there. Minhaz says why Kyle is watching stream on Insta and X, like why on both platforms. Dude, I don't know, brother. He's trying to support. Shout out to Kyle, man. I just saw Kyle just follow on Insta as well. Anybody who follows during the stream, I'll shoot you guys a follow back. I only saw one follow here, dude. That's fucking. I'm gonna need to see at least 3 follows before I continue, guys. No, I'm just playing. Shout out to you from Mars. I see you, bro. I wish I could see the stream. It doesn't show for some reason on mine. I think we're about caught up with chat. Oh yeah, Pump. So what's my thesis on Pump? So guys, really the barbell that I'm really bullish on this next leg is 2 things. And the reason why I call it a barbell is because one of them is in a section of crypto that is not to the untrained eye or somebody from TradFi would be looked at as not backed by anything, right? It doesn't have revenue flows. It's movement memes, which are obviously based around movement and memetics and different things. I'm extremely, 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 extremely bullish. I think anybody who's been paying attention sees that the world is headed more towards speculation and gambling. Everybody's sports betting or going on Polymarket or doing some type of and betting and speculation. Even women you start to see doing some of this stuff now. Doesn't mean they weren't doing sports betting before, but you see Polymarket opens up to more things that female crowds or other crowds might be open to, and I think that's only going to increase. And right now, crypto and meme coins have kind of a bad rap or like maybe some shitty marketing. But I think that changes over the next few years, and that meme coins are going to become a huge part of that speculation. And big part of that, big part of that. And in that way, I think movement memes specifically, again, the SPX, Gigas, Mogs, that have these strong movements behind them that continue to build despite price. I think I'm extremely bullish on those. Again, a lot of these coins, SPX, Giga, Mog, have already survived 3 to 5 of these 70% corrections before. So again, Gigamog, SPX, and then the second half of that, USDUC. There's a number of them, right? The other That's the movement memes. The other half of that barbell that I'm extremely bullish on is the opposite side. Instead of based on memetics, these other set of coins are coins that have good revenue. Have real revenue that people are using these applications because for whatever reason, for Hyperliquid, people are using them to trade perps. Pump Fund, they're using them to trade meme coins or create meme coins. Aster, same kind of thing. Perp Dex, Uniswap, they're using the app to trade, to obviously swap coins. I'm very bullish on the revenue producing coins, the few that actually produce legit revenue, and then have a flywheel that directly gives value back to holders. And we're starting to see that become a big theme in crypto, and I'm really excited about, because for the first time, this is like direct value accrual to holders. We have that in the TradFi world, and I think we're going to see a lot of these TradFi investors really start to value these things. And Pump went on an absolute fucking run from 1.5 to 5 bill during shitty conditions for the most part, during a time where pump volumes were still very, very tiny, maybe 10%, 20% of where they were back in 2024. So I think when the market bottoms out and people are trading meme coins again, the trenches are fired up again. I think the pump fees are going to go crazy. The revenue is going to go crazy, which is going to have them buy back a lot of the coin, which is going to send pump, I think, on this next leg, whether we bottom out here from here or it takes another. Fuck, I wasn't sharing my screen. Fuck. No, I'm just playing. Um, Damn it, guys. How you guys not tell me in the chat? No, I'm just playing. I'm not even looking. But sorry about that, guys. I know I'm just talking on not on another chart. But Pump Fund, on this next leg, due to the flywheel and the revenue that it produces, I think there's going to be a fuck ton of buybacks, which is going to be fuel to the fire on this next leg up. And again, it's that flywheel and buybacks from a team. I think the Pump streaming, we had Bunny Fufu, who's if you guys didn't check that out, I put out a clip earlier. Bunny Fufu, who made $240,000 in creator fees in his first couple days streaming on Pump Fund. The Pump Fund streaming is going to be a huge thing too that could contribute to it. I think that Pump Fund is going to get absolutely cracked on the way down, but on the way up, due to the flywheel and all those things, I think is going to do incredibly well. So, yeah, Pump Fund, Aster, Hyperliquid, Uniswap, any of these other coins that start to pop up with flywheels. But you got to make sure, I think it's important that there's actually people using the protocol. Like, think about that. People actually have to be using the protocol. There's going to be a lot of things pop up that have flywheels that people are only using to then farm the coin and airdrop and all that shit. Find stuff like Hyperliquid. To me, I'm finding stuff like Hyperliquid, Pump, stuff where the actual product people are using regardless of the token. And I think, again, movement memes and this barbell of these, revenue coins are what I'm personally focusing heavily on. All the DGen chat bros are here. Shout out to you, Creed Luminous. You're a G. Are RWA tokens about to become the new DeFi blue chips? I don't know about the new DeFi blue chips, but I'm bullish on RWA. What do I think about Monad launching? I don't really have any huge opinions again on the trajectory of Monad. I'm rooting for them. I hope everybody who gets any type of allocation, it absolutely fucking cooks for you. Don't be afraid to take some profits on the way up if you're up huge and it goes up. And then also don't completely count it out and FUD it and shit talk it if it goes down. Because we've seen with Pengu, USDUC, Pump, a lot of these coins that you and I, a lot of you guys have been here, caught together on this stream. You guys remember? Let me know if you were here in the chat. Like, you guys remember how everybody was FUDding Pump, maybe not USDC, Pump, SPX, a few of these other ones. Everybody was like, oh, these things are dead. They're just a scam. Pengu, remember everybody? Oh, like, why would anybody buy this? It's just a cash grab. What happened when it bottomed out? It ripped 5, 10, 15x. Right? So I hope that happens for Monad. Like, I hope it just rips straight from here. But overall, I hope it does, Monad does incredibly well. Start streaming on Telegram where you can actually receive stars as donations. Yeah, I've been thinking about how to do that in the best way, because I do want to get the Telegram homies like the easiest way. Like if it's easiest for the Telegram people in Telegram to go and just join straight from the chat, and it's still gonna feed into this stream, like I'm all for that. I'm gonna try to find a way to do that, because I always love to make sure the Telegram homies can join easily. By the way, it's a good opportunity. If you guys are not in the Boss Man Calls Telegram channel, obviously, which I run and own with my great friend, business partner, Boss Man. Him and I have been working together for really 3 years now. Really, 3 years, 2 years now. Yeah, right. 2023, 2 years. No, about November of 2023, we teamed up when the channel was at 300 subs. And had the privilege now over the last few years where the channel's grown to over 40,000 subs all over the world, people all over the world. It's one of my biggest, fucking privileges in life that I get to post in the Telegram channel. All you guys, every single day. It's been incredible. But if you aren't already in there, definitely check us out. I know a lot of people on Telegram, obviously not a lot going on. I've kind of stopped posting, but again, we have not every single day. I don't think there's been a day that's gone by in the last couple years. I don't even know, but probably in the last year where we haven't posted. Definitely not perfect, but in there again, we've caught the USDU Pengu, a lot of these Zero Bro. Like there's just countless coins that I posted in there with trade ideas. You know, days or weeks before they 5, 10, 15, 20x, 50x plus. Oh, got to share the screen. So definitely check out Bossman Calls Telegram channel. My buddy Bossman obviously posts great stuff as well. Shoot him a follow if you haven't already. But yeah, check us out. And yeah, I appreciate everybody for being in there. All these, sorry. Oh yeah, and as well as we have another thing called Boss Bot as well, which is a Telegram bot that will keep you up to date on in everything going on in sorry, I was reading something. Everything going on from crypto news, financial news, world news, up to date very quickly. It's actually, beaten a lot of these more popular, these bigger bots very often. But yeah, check us out again. Keep you up to date. Type in Boss Bot on Telegram, and we're going to continue to build that out as well. But really, yeah, I went over the kind of the barbell and what I've been focusing on, guys. During these times, it can be boring. You know, I think we're going to get a bounce here. We'll have to see from there. But even if we're going to go into a longer bear, it gets it may get boring for a time, but it's simple. It's just like I think Gainsey put out a video the other day that you don't want to obsess over the charts, but you don't want to just completely tune out either. You're going to lose your edge. It's just best to continue to show up every day, whatever that way that means for you. I think it's really easy to lose money right now if you're trading the short-term coins. But personally, guys, what I've been doing, continuing to stream, continue to do the Twitter Spaces, hang out with you guys, continue to try new things. I'm starting to try new applications and stuff that people are DMing me about, and really doing what's I've found success in over the last few years. And what really the biggest way I've went from essentially five figures to multiple seven figures over the last couple of years is by having the courage and the foresight to buy during these kind of corrective periods, and then take profits aggressively, kind of as they're becoming the consensus trade. And again, you got to be careful here. We could go into a 6 to 9 month longer bull bear. So put your time horizons, definitely be a little bit, looser with the time horizons, but at the same time, you know, every single one of these periods of people who DCA into the great assets stay patient and take profits on the way up, do incredibly well. So I hope you're in the position to do that. And that's one more thing too I want to touch on before we get back to the chat is if you're a kid in here, I don't care what country you're from, you're from the United States, even wherever the fuck, do not be ashamed to go and get a job, dude. I know people make fun of McDonald's and like all this shit in the space, which is hilarious. Whatever, like those memes are great, but like for me, like I told you guys a few times, there was two different times or I had to start over in crypto due to losses and just different stuff, right? And that last time, I went through, I was made it like up to six figures in the first bull run to where I had to almost start over, right? And I had to go back and I had to get a job, right? Where I just had quit my job for in 2021, and a year later I went back to work and did some stuff in sales. And that's, I kind of had to swallow my fucking pride from somebody who identified as somebody who was like, oh, I'm this person who, is full time with crypto. But guess what? It allowed me to get that capital to keep myself afloat, to put back in the market and make it back to fucking seven figures. And now where I'm able to, you know, quote unquote comfortably do this full time, right? So if you're here right now, even if you're in the US, you're in fucking Indonesia, India, wherever. I understand a lot of people, it's easier said than done. A lot of countries, it's not so easy to get a job, but especially if you're in the US and you have ample opportunity to go get a job, brother, I'm telling you, like, you're going to have so much more peace of mind where if you have couple $1,000s or $10,000s to work with, versus trying to just make it on the next flip and just hopefully turn this $200 to 10,000. Like, I think most of the time you're going to continue to spin the wheel where get ahead a little bit. And it allow you to do that. Again, might have to swallow your pride, but it may again be what allows you to finally get to those like higher portfolio numbers and stuff. So I hope that helps anybody who's been thinking about that. Let's say I have $200 to put in coins. Wow, that's what I was just talking about. How would you personally spread the 200? So just trading, I don't know where you're at in the world, but if you're at all able to continue to support yourself and put money into the market, I think, and again, I don't no idea what your situation is, bro. So I don't want to speak out of ignorance, but like, if you're able to continue to produce money in any other way to continue to add to the market, I would recommend doing that. But with that being said, $200 in the market, I think spreading that amongst, keeping $50 to $100 of that into ETH, Soul, Bitcoin, and then taking the rest of that. And I know it's not a lot with 200, but just as a habit to keep most of your coins in the stables, stables and majors. Take the other 100 of that, split it between four to five great coins you have conviction in for this next bullish period, and take profits on the way up partially. And then that's how you can again compound on the way up. But I highly encourage you, if possible, to continue to work towards putting more money in the market, because again, it's just tough to go from 200 to anything because of what it does to your mind. You think, oh, I need to make it. I need to make this money. I need to make this 200 into 1,000. And usually that has you making not so sound decisions. XRP on the screen. Yeah, my bad, bro. Are we about to see a research? Oh, somebody asked about NFTs. So NFTs are another thing, just like Bitcoin, ETH, Sol. I don't know if we go to all-time highs here in the next couple months. I think there's a good shot. And that's how I feel about NFTs, but on a bigger scale, right? I don't know if NFTs go back to all-time highs next year. I think there's a possibility that the NFT industry is a industry, I think, waiting for some type of catalyst, right? I don't think it's waiting for some type of catalyst. I think companies like VeeFriends, Pudgies are building regardless. But as far as getting another mania, I think if GTA or some big game integrated NFTs, I think that sends it straight back into a mania. If PSA, which grades trading cards, starts integrating blockchain into every single one of their things, or a number of things, catalysts that brings attention and legitimizes NFTs, could send it into a mania. But overall, 2 to 3, 5 years, I think a lot of these NFT companies, the VeeFriends, Pudgies, potentially Azuki, a lot of these others are going to build into massive brands, which are going to make those original NFT collectibles very valuable and collectible in nature. So really, I think NFTs long term is a bet on the founders in the NFTs. And then I think there's a possibility that as crypto grows, that there is potentially a mania in NFTs again, where there's kind of a bull run where everything runs at once. But the reason why I put a couple $100,000 into VeeFriends and some of these others is a long-term bet on the founders and the team's ability to make millions of people around the world give a fuck about VeeFriends or give a shit about Pudgies. And that's the only way these things are able to maintain 5 to 6 figure floors. But yeah, I'm just reading some comments here. If you guys don't want to comment in the chat, you can leave it on the stream as well. Stream tweets. I see a lot of you guys retweeted and commented. I appreciate it. What's up, Murmur? What's up, Ken? Ken Berber. What's up, Jaden? Active like a windmill, says Precious. Are we about to see a resurgence of real world asset? I don't know about we're about to see, but I'm bullish on RWAs. Yeah, I remember I was fudding. What were you fudding, Creed? SPX? Thoughts on SPX? SPX, guys, you guys should all go ahead and check out Thread Guy's interview with Murad. Murad is a character where like people either love him or like they like to troll him and stuff. But I personally think Murad is incredibly ahead of his time, and I think this guy's incredibly smart. And Saul, before he did that Token 2021 speech, the ever growing need for like speculation and loneliness and stuff in society that we're really starting to see peak over the last year. He started seeing this a year and a half ago. And I truly think that his thesis on tokenized communities, these cult coins growing to billions of dollars in market cap and becoming worldwide movements and brands. We're already starting to see it with Giga having a brand on Walmart. I think that's the play here, and I think he's incredibly ahead of his time. And SPX, I think, is going to be the biggest. And I'm not showing the SPX chart yet. I probably should be, but I think SPX is going to be the biggest. Oh wow, it's already bouncing nice a little bit. I think SPX is going to be the biggest beneficiary of this thesis here. I think Murad talks about it. He thinks that the way society's headed, that we're going to see another GME type play pop up, where society or like these big movement kind of forms against some big group, and he really believes that SPX 6900 is probably going to be that. And at first, man, like I remember SPX a couple years ago or like a year and a half ago, I was like, I don't know, like these anime characters, like the girl volleyball, whatever the fuck, like I don't know, it just wasn't my vibe. But then I really started to dive into the community and see people like, shout out to this guy Nick right here. Yeah, I know this guy Nick right here. I appreciate it. By the way, guys, you might hear me. It might sound like I'm fucking talking to myself, like I'm schizophrenic, but I promise you, I'm talking to my producer here. Can't stop me now. In this studio I have here. So please, I promise, I am not talking to the voices in my head. But Nick, shout out to this guy Nick. Like, I think this guy's fucking hilarious. He goes to bars and shit, and like
I got
Jill's
one
SPX.
motherfucking thing to say to you.
How do you know him?
And it's
Dude,
literally,
everyone
it's literally everyone knows me.
It's
SPX 6900. It's literally all I need to know to escape.
And like, this just might seem like funny or like whatever, inconsequential, but like SPX is that one community where there's a bunch of people who are willing to dox, go on TikTok, go in real life, and really like shill it. And I think this is just the fact that they're able to do this right now while markets are down. I think SPX has the best shot at becoming a huge worldwide movement. And I think SPX goes to 10 billion plus. And, does it flip Doge someday? I don't fucking know, but I do know there's an incredible movement behind this. So despite having a lot of SPX already, being my biggest movement meme position, I'm adding a ton to it. And again, I think this is the easiest 10x whenever this shit is over. Keep in mind again, oops, I'm not sharing my screen. Keep in mind again, I have this. This is obviously the bull hopium case right here, which I have marked out. But obviously, keep in mind if you are buying SPX right now, depending on what Bitcoin does, let's say it chops around and always could put in another low. But I mean, if SPX were to put in a low under 400 million, I would back up the fucking truck because I'm just a huge belief that SPX. Are all of these meme coins going to bounce back? Of course not. But I think SPX is an incredible opportunity here personally. Most of us are already here from Telegram. Yeah, I know. Has Bitcoin entered a new volatility regime? Always love to hang out with you, bro. Your streams are very informative. I appreciate that, man. 12-hour shifts every day, brother. Okay, love to hear that, bro. Love to hear that. I appreciate or I respect that grind. I would say I don't know if you it's tough out here. I don't know where you live. I assume probably you live in the US. Trading. But I mean if there's any way to like put more money into the market, I would try to do that. But I understand it's tough times right now. Is Solana's ecosystem becoming the new home for early? Yeah, I don't know. Why base Newell's questions look like it came from AI? I don't know. Shout out to Base Newell. I appreciate him being here, whether he's using ChatGPT or not. I don't know, but no, I'm just playing with you, Newell. I appreciate your questions, bro. Is Solana's? Yeah. Uh, I don't know. I think Solana's going to continue to do well. Yeah, Nick is great. Yeah, Kyle, you said the anonymous. It does look like, by the way, if you guys were on Instagram, for some reason, we need to work out the kink. It does kick us off after an hour. So if you were hanging out on Instagram just now, it kicked you off. Uh, that's why. But the anonymous account on Bitcoin Talk. Guess why Bitcoin Top? You said Bitcoin. Okay, yeah. That was pretty nuts. The that anonymous. I forgot what the guy's name was, but yeah, no, there was the Reddit post that depicted whether Bitcoin was I think it was like lined up every 364 days. Bitcoin topped out, and it happened to top out there. But what you guys got to understand is, yes, it is definitely possible that Bitcoin tops out here, or it already has topped out. It's possible that Bitcoin does trade lower, but also you got to understand that if Bitcoin does make a all time high in 2026, that the 4 year cycle is still over. Meaning, here, let me get this, guys. The 4 year cycle is still over if Bitcoin does go up into year 5. Because again, 4 year cycle means Bitcoin tops out in year 4, heads lower into year 5, and then makes a new all time high. Usually, and then the cycle repeats, and then we make an all time high a couple years later. If Bitcoin were to do this, chop it around a bit, come up, come back down one more time, and then make an all time high in, let's say, June or July or March or April, whatever month, that would still invalidate the 4 year cycle. And I think that's probably is what's going to happen, frankly. Pace Newell doesn't. I appreciate your questions either way, dude. For real. But let's see how to make the bet. But yeah, not a lot crazy going on, guys. We really want to see, again. Always remember, doesn't matter. Anybody wants to tell you, Bitcoin drives the entire market on a higher time frame basis. Bitcoin goes up, memes, alts, ETH, everything heads back to the upside. I can't even fucking speak. Conditions in the trenches start to heat back up again, based on the health of Bitcoin and which one of 3 phases it's in. When Bitcoin's impulsing to the downside, everything's going to be boring. So we're essentially waiting to see what Bitcoin does here, guys. I do think we're going to get a bounce, very likely. What does that bounce do from here? We have to see what it does at the 200 EMA. If it says, just says fuck it and just rips right up here, rips right through the 200 EMA, I think there's a good chance we can just go back to all-time highs from here. We also have to prepare for the possibility that it fails to break that 200 EMA, gives us one more leg down. But again, baby, whether it we go straight to all-time highs and we're there in January 3rd, or we make one more low, it's just a matter of a couple months. It's like the analogy that if somebody told you that you could have $1 million, but you just had to wait 6 months, like you would do whatever, you would wait however long it takes, or you would do whatever it takes to get there. And I think it's the same thing. It's like, okay, bull market resumes in 2 or 3 months. or it resumes in 6 to 9 months. It's not fun. I would way rather have Bitcoin resumes in a week from now. Bitcoin, like the bull phase resumes in a week from now. But I understand that if we do go down to 6 to 9 months, go down for another. These are just random numbers, by the way. But like, let's say we go down till middle of next year. If I know where the industry's headed, very likely anyway, it's really only a matter of time. So that's kind of how I view it. I think Bitcoin's in that perfect sweet spot. Whereas in 2021, we were really wondering about the future of this. We were wondering, after FTX, if people were ever going to take crypto serious again, was it going to get regulated to hell? And I think we have really proven the complete opposite of that. I think the fact that the president and all these things are on crypto's side now, it's just a matter of fucking time. And I feel very confident in saying that. And I think personally, everything's pointing. We talked about it with Hemdog and these other streams, that everything other than price, I think, is setting up very, very potentially for the strongest period or a renaissance or whatever you want to call it for crypto in 26, 27, whenever it plays out, because of these other bullish indicators from the macro and the regulatory stuff, the institutional adoption of crypto, which definitely doesn't reflect in prices in the short term always, but sure as hell does in the long term, right? So that's what I would just say. Keep that in mind. I'm fairly new to trading, but you and Bossman are very informative. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you for being on these streams. Thank you for, we really thank yourself for continuing to stick with it, because right now, man, it's just really easy to fucking say, fuck it. I'm going to take all my money out of the market, stop paying attention. I'm going to go pivot to, making faceless AI videos. I don't know whatever's popping right now. But again, nothing wrong with that. Definitely diversify your time if you feel that's best for you. But I would not stop paying attention. Or I would not check out right now, personally. Do you use Hot Wallet, and what is the best one? Yeah, I use Hot Wallet sometimes. I like Phantom for the most part. It's kind of my favorite. Coinbase Wallet's great too. Didn't see volume on ETH time, even with it breaking new to all-time highs like those days and $200 fees. Yeah. Yeah, I could look at CMC20. Yeah, I'm going to do the giveaway winner on stream before I get off. I'll probably stay on here for another 15 minutes or so, unless we get crazy surge. And now, I'm nothing crazy, special, but I've gotten to the point where, I've been able to build wealth and, and have this Telegram channel of 40,000 people and all this. So I'm just telling you, if I can build back from being in fucking the dumps to, whatever you as sure as hell can, especially a lot of you guys who are younger. I'm 31, right? I still think I'm young as shit. I definitely is not. I'm just hitting my stride. But especially if you're 2021, you guys could continue to fuck up in neither. I don't think you should. Definitely give it your all, but you can continue to fuck up for 2 or 3 years and you're still young as shit. So yeah, man, continue to push, brother. We're so fucking early. You think about internet, any of these technologies that are widely accepted. I think we've come a long way in crypto, but we're still so fucking early. I talk to people about crypto still, and it's still this small niche thing. And you talk about NFTs, you just look like a fucking nutcase. But I think that just goes to show how early we are to these things, man. I'm 17 and younger. Appreciate good for you for starting younger. 31 is young. I'm 23 myself. Shout out to you. Yeah, that is young. 23 is incredibly young. I remember at 23, I was going through this is something different. This is kind of where before I started getting crazy full time with crypto. But I remember at 23, I thought, oh fuck, my life's over. Like I'd gone through just a few different things at the same time, and like remember thought, oh, my life's over at 23 years old. But you're 23, 25, 27, even 30. Like you look at all these successful people and you read their stories. A lot of them didn't even start until they're fucking 30. Gary Vee, which is one of my fucking heroes, someone I appreciate a lot. He didn't start, and he was doing a lot of stuff with business and whatever, but he didn't start producing content, YouTube content or any type of content until he was 30 years old. So you hear these success stories of people who, a lot of successful young people too, but the biggest, most successful people, almost all of them, they either had to start over multiple times or didn't find success for many, many years. So what's your thoughts on Monad? Yeah, again, we went over this. I'm rooting for Monad. Rooting for Monad. Every chart resembles the USDC logo. Not quite sure what that means, but I'll go with it. Nah. Oh, I get it. That's down. Yeah, I got it. Bull. Honest and clever. Yeah. But yeah, quiet Sunday. I just wanted to hop on with you guys, check in, talk about, since last stream, obviously Bitcoin had moved down a lot. But yeah, again, we'll see what happens over the next few weeks. But I just think it's the most obvious time to be involved in crypto. And yeah, I'm excited to be here. What do you guys think about these trading competitions? I think it's interesting because a lot of them are short term things where they gotta, you know, close the positions pretty, within the competition. And I mean, it's just like, what if the market's not moving during the competition, right? Are you having to place very high leverage to really milk any type of gains out of that? I'd be interested to watch some of these competitions and see how they work. But that's something I always think about with the trading competition. If it's you're playing on a random, you're doing this competition on a random Tuesday, the market's literally trading in a 1% fucking zone. How do you really get ahead in a competition in that way? I'd be interested to see it. Shout out to this guy fucking Donnie though. Donnie's a good person to go and follow. I recommend him. He's a great chart guy as well. Extremely optimistic, smart dude. He's right though. You won't see the real high until there's complete anonymous conviction for upside. To me, it's very clear the last 3 years have had an ever-growing pile of uncertainty that Michael has been incredibly climbing over. Most people ever have had one foot out the door the whole time and been shaken on every drop. Hence a cycle top call we've heard 1,000 times now. Yeah. Do you think that the 28-point seed plan for Ukraine is going to affect the market, the World Summit meeting? That's a good question, dude. I need to read more into that to really give you an opinion, but I just hope that the fucking war is over, man. Like, it's oddly enough, I've connected with people on Instagram. If you haven't already, check out the Instagram. I've put out like a giveaway in the Telegram channel. By the way, I'm going to do that giveaway here in a second for this stream, but I did a giveaway in the Telegram channel a few months ago for Instagram, and was able to connect and see how many people from all over the world are in there and everything. Awesome to connect on there. So if you haven't already, go ahead and check out Instagram, top right at Brent Trades. Shoot me a follow and a DM, and I'll shoot you a follow back. But I've connected with people on Instagram from Ukraine, and it's insane. I think a lot of people don't know that it's actually really intensified as of late, and you're still seeing thousands of Russian troops die. Bunch of Ukrainian people, citizens getting hit and houses destroyed. They're having to like turn off the power to conserve and all this crazy shit. I don't know how it's gonna affect the markets, man, but hopefully they fucking end the war because it's just fucking brutal. But how does it affect the market? I don't know. I'd assume any type of peace deal would be bullish, but I don't know, man. Yeah, I look at bullish. Wow. I know a lot of people on bubble maps and shit is saying it's bundled, but a lot of coins are, right? So I don't know. I would say tell me in the chat, brother, where you entered here. Oops. Let me know where in the chat you entered. I would be taking profits on the way up here, especially with how the market's reacting. We have been holding this high for 4 or 5 days. So hopefully it breaks higher above this all-time high. But if it doesn't, I could start to see it starting a bigger correction here. So I would be taking profits on the way up. And if it did give you something like this, that's probably where I would enter personally if I was, bullish on the fundamentals and everything, community, all that. So I could see that going, but it could just continue to the upside, and I hope it does well, continues to do well. I mean, it's outperforming the rest of the market, so I'm sure there's something there. Yeah, no, I'd be working out 3 to 5 days a week, making sure to really make that a priority. For the first time, I think since high school when I was playing football, that I've stuck consistently, have not stopped going to the gym for 13, 14 months now. And yeah, it's I think it's a must, especially when trading crypto. It's really easy to get burnt out, especially physically. And I think it gives you an edge of longevity, mental health, and all that when you're consistently taking care of yourself. I do a lot of fasting as well. I've been doing really like a 20 to 24-hour fast once a week. And then most other days I'm fasting 12 to 16 hours. Especially I'm just really trying to really take care of myself. Again, this is a long game. And then I just enjoy going to the gym. I like to see the progress and all that. But yeah, I'm doing 3 to 5 days at the gym. I like to hit the sauna about the same almost every time at the gym. And yeah, bro, just really trying to I think it's a must. Take care of yourself, especially if you're young. Create those habits right now, I think is max. You can try Vanter Arena. Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. Yeah, I'll definitely shoot you a follow back, Henry. Face reveal when it'll happen. W, your audacity. Thank you. Trading crypto exhausts you mentally much more than physically. Yeah, for sure. But then there's also when things are really hot and popping, like, it's easy to neglect sleep and eating and every other healthy thing, especially. But wow, we're getting a few follows on here. Looks like from the stream. So if you guys are new from the Telegram channel, wherever you're at, appreciate it. Shout out to everybody on here. First, new again, let me know in the chat if this is your first time or if you're, been on here for a while. Going to continue to do these streams Tuesdays. As you guys can see, I put out a tweet yesterday. I wasn't able to stream yesterday, which was, Friday, because I had a meeting, but we're going to run it back today, which we did the stream today. Amazing. Appreciate everybody for showing up. But this is the full week schedule. Sunday, going to do a stream. Tuesday, stream, 11 a.m. PST. Wednesday, stream with my buddy Jaden. We're going to talk NFTs, crypto. Also, if some of you guys are looking for maybe other things to focus on during this time, my buddy Jaden is the most followed writer on Medium for NFTs and crypto. He's going to talk about, and usually on these streams, we talk about how he went from, not being a writer at all to producing, again, a bigger following from creating written content that can really translates to Twitter and stuff as well. So maybe if a lot of you guys are starting to, wanting to create a following, or of any sort through any written medium, there's a lot you can learn from this guy. We'll talk a lot about maybe some strategies that somebody who's trying to build a following, again, through written content, whether that be through Medium, Twitter, whatever it may be. Definitely tune into that. A lot of market stuff there as well that we're going to talk about. And then Thursday, Twitter Space with my buddy Hemdog. If you want to come up and ask a question, chop it up, definitely come pull up and hang out with us there. And then another Friday stream at 11 a.m. PST. So really, we're streaming every Tuesday and Friday at the very least. And that Thursday Twitter Space. Those three are going to happen every single week. Doesn't matter what the market is doing. And if you have a podcast, you have a stream, anything that you have, definitely reach out to me. I'd love to collab, trying to get on as many of these things as possible throughout this time, get a lot more reps, because again, I think crypto in general is going to blow up, and those who are continuing to stream and kind of plant their flag now, I think are going to do incredibly well. So I'm fucking ecstatic to be here, and appreciate everybody for pulling up to all of these streams. Again, I like to make it a one-stop shop to not only just go over the stuff that I'm doing, maybe some education, teach everybody, at least share some of the stuff that's helped me, catch some great plays together, but really just a place that everybody can come and hang out and ask questions and comments. And that's why I really like the Twitter Spaces too, because it feels like more of a conversation and an open dialogue. But I always appreciate seeing every single one of you guys in the chat, and it feels like I'm having a conversation. It'll be crazy if one day, maybe people in the chat, I don't know if it'll come up with some kind of AI avatar where it feels like you're talking to the person, or like there's some more personal experience. I imagine there will be over time between the chat and like the streamer. But either way, I appreciate every single fucking one of you guys for being here. And we're just getting started for real. At least, I'm not going anywhere. Definitely was not going anywhere in 2021 and 2016 and 2017 when crypto was this small niche thing. And sure as hell not going anywhere now. So I think we're probably never going to get a sweet spot like this again, where there's a divergence between adoption, like obviously happening, and then prices being down like this. I just don't know if we're going to get another opportunity like this again. Valor and Fog Swap. So I don't have I don't know a crazy amount about either of those. I know Valor has like this Trump tie-in or something that people are speculating on. I do think some of these newer coins, you're really fighting an uphill battle when conditions aren't great. But again, we talked about Bitcoin might bounce here, so in that case, memes and alts probably will do well. So if you're you're a believer in Valor, this may be a time to add. It does look corrective here. It does seem to be chopping down. So if you're bullish on whatever, I say fundamentals, but I just mean anything outside of the price, this might be your time to add. It does look pretty choppy and corrective. But with that being said, if the market were to take another puke, I would expect this to go down too. So pretty decent price action. The fact that it impulsed up and is now chopping and correcting. But I don't really have any strong opinions other than that. You probably want to see this. That's probably best case scenario. And I could honestly see something like that playing out. Yeah, share 1,000 views. Appreciate everybody being here. When's next stream with Bunny? Probably make that happen again soon. I'll definitely want to have him on, especially as Pump kind of bounces back. But regardless of what Pump's doing, Bun is just an amazing, awesome dude. We'll try to join if I have time, but it's very tough to match. Yeah, I know. I appreciate you being here, dude. Appreciate everybody. Can definitely watch the playback. But yeah, guys, we're coming up on an hour 30. I'm gonna go ahead and check, make sure we didn't miss anything crazy today on the stream, or miss any crazy news. Let's see. Only way to grow crypto is to go beyond crypto. That's real. Let's see. Shout out to Jonah. This guy's consistent as well. Definitely check out his stuff. Love his takes on gaming and a lot of other stuff. So shout out to Jonah. Um, da, da, da. Shout out to D Farmer, somebody I really respect as well. Craig, shout out Craig. Kick Charts, who's been on here. Yep. Agree with that. Um, oh, incredibly bullish. Let's see. Trading competitions are nothing. Dude, fuck that. Imagine having to trade around with all this bullshit, like, in your ears and shit. I'd just be like, brother, I'm just trying to get a fucking position in, and I'm just. Imagine it's like this cheerleader just like making all this noise next to you. You're just like, nah, I'm just playing. That's definitely a lot better environment than some of the rooms people are in. But yeah, let's go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and pick from randomly from the comments. And again, I appreciate everybody commenting on here. The giveaways. I wish I could give something to everybody. But again, we've got about 46 entries. I'm going to do this completely random here. Let me see. Let's see. All right. The winner is again picked completely random from the comments of the chat. If you want to win a giveaway in the future, make sure to always comment, retweet, like on the actual stream post. The winner of today's is Eki or Eki AKL. I'm not quite sure, but either way, I assume it's Eki. Congratulations, brother. Shoot me a DM. I will go ahead and shoot you some USDC. Again, appreciate everybody for commenting and participating in the streams. I wish I could give giveaway to everybody, and I'll continue to do these as a thanks for everybody for being here. And hell yeah, have always been attending the streams but never won. Yeah, I'm sorry, brother. I wish I could do it for everybody. The randomizer never works in my favor. Someday, Ash. I hope so, brother. Congrats, GG. Congrats. Yeah. So with that, guys, just wanted to do a Sunday stream. I think it's the first Sunday stream I've ever done. Nice little change of pace. I think it's a good time to do streams on Sundays because the market, is before market opens. But it has been fucking amazing. I hope gave a little bit more insight on to potentially where Bitcoin goes from here. Again, just a quick conclusion. Daily time frame. We really, I think, over the next year, I'm incredibly bullish. I think it's obvious that Bitcoin very likely sees a condensed correction, even if we are to head down one more time. I do think that very likely most of the downside's over. We want to see how Bitcoin trades around that 200 moving average, this red moving average here on the 200. As we can see here, every time Bitcoin has traded above that 200 moving average, it's confirmed kind of pretty much a leg higher to all-time highs. And right now, Bitcoin is traded far below that and definitely needs to come up very swiftly to recover above that 200 EMA to really confirm that we're back. But either way, guys, what I'm doing is just DCAing into great coins, kind of treating as if, the bottom's already in. And if we are to get something like this where it kind of chops up, doesn't break that moving average and comes down one more time like 2021, we're just going to do more of the same. DCA into the other great coins, continue to stream all that good shit. So really what everybody is obsessing over right now is whether Bitcoin goes up straight from here in a couple weeks or a couple months or goes back down one more time. And we're in this extended corrective period for much of 2026. I think the outcome is the same on the other side. And really it's just a matter of waiting. I'm personally, because of all the experience and what I've seen have happened on the other side of this, I'm willing to wait no matter what. I feel like I know my portfolio is set to withstand any of these conditions. And I hope everybody strives to get towards that same place as far as risk management and everything. With that being said, guys, I love everybody. Hope everybody is hanging in there. I know it's a tough time. But again, if you just study any of these past corrections and the people who never gave up, there's a very good likelihood that you're gonna, make it on the other side. Whatever make it means to you. So, do you stream on Week? No, this is the first time. I appreciate it, brother. I'm glad you were able to get on today because it was the weekend. I'm gonna make an effort again. I apologize. I know I was supposed to come on 11 today. I had some technical difficulties. I'm gonna try my best every time to stick to the actual time because I know a lot of people. You set schedules and you guys have work and you're hanging out with family. So again, I always appreciate everybody who takes any time out of their day to hang out here with us. So um, yeah, and again, I encourage everybody to definitely rewatch the replays. I know it's way more fun and interactive if you're live, but there's always a lot of great nuggets from myself and obviously people in the chat that we talk about. So, um, Kyle, I'm gonna obviously DM the winner as well, but that's not the. But yeah, I'm glad you're able to catch it. Any of you guys that weren't maybe able to catch the week streams, appreciate you guys. I'm glad you're able to get on. I will make an effort to do more Sunday streams in the future. Um, but with that being said, guys, I love you guys. I appreciate everybody going on, everybody coming on. And we'll be back on Tuesday. Again, remember Tuesday stream, Wednesday stream, Thursday Twitter space, and another Friday stream. Going to continue to have great guests on, continue to make the streams more, informational, but as well as entertaining for you guys. If you have any recommendations or anything you want to see on the stream or whatever, I'm always love the dialogue. So with that being said, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday. Like I always say on the rest of this, the best is yet to come, and I love you guys.